All right, remember disbursement was promised this week, and today is Friday. We are still hoping and still looking forward to it. Don't forget, tomorrow is a Saturday and we have a Sunday. So we are still hoping, and I want you guys to pay close attention to this and listen carefully and see how we can move forward regarding what is happening. And subscribe to the update and
There
see
is
you
a
on
bit
the
of
other side.
information here that is based on IMF and World Bank initiative and ultimatum given to the government to disburse this fund. Precisely speaking, the ultimatum that was given from the IMF and World Bank / World Bank to the Nigerian government to disburse the fund expires today, which is the 10th of January 2025. Today's midnight, and we are still watching how it's going to go. We understand that the government has been back and forth seeking for extension to Wednesday, sometimes next week, for extension on disbursement, but the IMF is still head-bent on midnight of today, which is 10th of January, to disburse this fund. What is important is that once the fund is disbursed, I want to believe that it doesn't go straight first to the beneficiaries, but the country director, who in turn now disburse to the NGOs, the cluster heads, the bundle owners, and then from there it gets down to the beneficiaries. But what is important first is that let the fund leave the coffers of the government. That is what is important. That is, once it leaves the coffers of the government, then we are sure that it's within arm's reach. You understand? It's within arm's reach, and then as such we can now hope to get it down to the masses, who are the end users, and that's actually what we needed in the first place. That's the point. That's the point. But before I go ahead, let me just read this submission here that is coming from Osim. He said that my attention was drawn this morning about a lady's voice note called Ngozi. I don't know whether it's the regular Mrs. Ngozi Israel that is making reference to, but it says his attention was drawn about a lady's voice note called Ngozi, who claims that there was no meeting or agreement, that there was no meeting between the IMF and the federal government. That's what he's saying here. He said, please ignore that voice note, that is not true, and she doesn't know what she's talking about. Further to that, he said that there is a critical meeting, there is a critical issue with a disbursement related to the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. The government representative is pushing for a deadline extension to Wednesday, but the IMF is insisting on today, which is Friday. Today is 10th of January and today is Friday, 2025. They say, given the sensitivity and the importance of this matter, it is essential to rely on credible sources and ignore misinformation. I'm confident that Mrs. Ngozi's claims are baseless. Disregard her message and focus on verifying the fact through my source, which I won't expose. Let's see how it goes today and keep the temple of prayer on. All right, so that's the intel also we got from Osim. I don't know whether it's Madam Ngozi, but the name here says Ngozi, because if it's Ngozi Israel that I know, she's a proponent of UAAG, who has come out in time to drop different messages and also has a source of information concerning the grand disbursement. But we also know that Osim is one individual personality who is very close to the inside and what goes on there. So, but the issue now is the extension and the mandate. the extension come the ultimatum. The IMF is giving ultimatum for today, vis-a-vis everything they needed to do to wrap up between the now and the midnight of today. But government is seeking for an extension to Wednesday, precisely next week or thereabout. You know that, and that has to do with government is always a shifting of extension. That's the life that government always lives. Extension. Anything governmental is not quick. Anything governmental is draggy, sluggish, and slow. Processes are involved, and I don't know why they are like. It's their syndrome. I don't know which extension you've been seeking for 8 years that we have been on this lifeline, and further extension for what? Tell me, for what? So whatever thing should be done between now and Wednesday should as well be done today if they are serious about it. That's the issue with the government. But we are going to see how it goes, because as far as I'm concerned, you could see that prayers have been ongoing from back, left, right, and center. From every quarter, prayer has been ongoing to ensure that disbursement to all and sundry is effected, and that right early. So government is just a diminutive figure, a minute figure when it comes to what God is set to do for all the beneficiaries who have enlisted for this cause. Is a project. Why this is all over the place is because UAAG disbursement is not a minute project. It's a fiscal project. It's a massive project, and it involves a lot of dignitaries and highly placed men at the echelon of powers are also there. Everyone is interested in the money. The fund is actually real. The fund is large, is wholesome, and so it's something that can change your destiny if you key into it. Forget the fact that they started to slash some of the beneficiaries' funds into pieces and things, but the money is huge. The money is real and the money is huge, so they know what it means. That is why they're afraid of inflation. They don't want the common man to rise. I don't want to say what is in my heart right now, but they don't want the common man to rise. When it comes to threat, it only comes to them when the masses need to rise. But when they need to buy billion-dollar vehicles, there's no threat to them. There's no threat to that. So we are still watching, we are still waiting, we are looking, and every available information, definitely we are going to bring it right on this channel. So be open. One of these days we're going to close case on UAAG disbursement. We will close case, except if this disbursement is done and another one comes up still from the sanctuary wealth, it becomes a continuation. Fine, that's all right. We dedicate ourselves to this service to bring you an updated content, so that as it has to do with disbursement of this grant, be rest assured that we're going to carry the information. You must be obliged. You must know what to do. You must know what to believe. You must know where you are standing. You must know on which side you are. Don't stand on the fence. Don't stand on the side of those who never believed in anything called disbursement. They don't want your good in the first place. I've always said it. There are those in the side of when anything is coming good, they want to bring it down. They are not rich, and they don't want anybody else to be rich. They are not well-to-do, and they don't want anybody else to be well-to-do. They are like crabs. Once they enter inside a cup or a basin, every other crab must stay there. Anyone that tries to leap out, they drag it down. And as such, nobody gets rich. They don't get rich. Everybody must be poor. Those are the sideline of some people. That's their faith and their belief. But for those of you who I receive a lot of prayers on our channels. It's only few I was able to post this morning, but people are praying. is to show the level of desperation that is in the heart of the people. People cry. Muslims, Christians, listen to that voice note. Those who call on God, call on Christ, calls on Allah, everyone is praying because they needed a change of destiny. 2025 is going to be a defined year for you. And if UAAG does not want to fulfill this righteousness, God will push it aside and get something better for you to have a life. Did you get that? God will push it aside and get something better for you than what UAAG can offer. The fact remains that your destiny this year cannot be rock pulled. Nobody can cast you down. You must record lifting. But something is of importance, very important. Something very sacrosanct is of importance. You must have confidence in God and what He said to do for you, because He does not lie. His word does not lie. All right, so that is the information I need to break out just this morning. Yes, the extension is what is being sought by the government, but the IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund, that's the full meaning of it, is given a mandate of a deadline for this midnight. Today's midnight, Friday, 10th of January 2025, for this money to be disbursed. So let us see how it goes. We'll bring you an updated content